How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point with no BS added in. An anti-gun mom has literally flipped her shit over a miniature gun display in a retail store. You might have seen ads on social media for tiny replica firearms known as goat guns. They function much like a real gun, except for one thing: they don't shoot any projectiles. I own a couple of them myself, and I'll show you them in a couple of minutes. And they mainly sell them online, but some stores actually do carry them. And there's a store called Shields that sells them. So here is what goat guns look like. Pretty cool, aren't they? Of course, this is a gold AK-47. I found these locally a year or so ago, out of all places, an airsoft store. And then also I picked up one of the SIG MPXs. And I think they're pretty cool, and they make great displays in an office or in a room. Oh, and by the way, the AK-47 actually comes with a drum magazine as well. Now let me show you the pictures that a person called Nebraska Mom posted on X. And as you can see, the first picture shown is the actual AK-47 that I have. As you can see on the packaging, it says 1/3 scale non-firing toy model, die-cast metal, ages 13 plus. And in the second picture, you can see an end cap in the store of all the goat guns they have for sale. So any normal human being walking by that end cap of goat guns would either pass it by because it didn't interest them, and of course some people would take a look at them, have never seen anything like that before, and think they're pretty cool and actually buy one for themselves or for a Christmas gift. But when somebody comes across this display who is infected with the liberal pathogen, this is how they react to that display. Nebraska Mom said, "Really, Shields? This is the type of toy you sell in your stores? No colorful markings that they show that they are toys, which will be a problem when kids start getting them for Christmas. Learn to quickly assemble their guns and bring them to school. This won't turn out well." And she tagged Moms Demand Action. But she wasn't done there. She also posted this. Also noticed how Shields has conveniently positioned these weapons right next to the sleds to further entice kids. In a world where the #1 killer of children is gun violence, they are definitely on the wrong side of history and common sense in marketing this toy. And once again tagged Moms Demand Action. It sounds like she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, doesn't it? So she said the store conveniently placed these weapons right next to the sleds to further entice kids. And this just shows you how mental this woman is and how one-sided she is as well. Because in the same picture that she shows the sleds, the next aisle over is full of airsoft guns, which actually do shoot projectiles out of them. And most of them are the same size as actual weapons. But she doesn't complain about those. Very rarely do I show my firearms on YouTube anymore. But I had to do this to show an actual comparison. Here is my AK-47. And this firearm is unloaded. I checked it before filming. This is a full-size AK-47. And then what she's complaining about is the little goat gun display. It's a big difference, isn't it? It just shows you how crazy this woman is. As I mentioned earlier, not only does the box say it's a non-firing model, but they're 1/3 scale. That means they're 1/3 the size of a real firearm. They don't need to be specially colored, because there's literally no way on the planet one of these can be mistaken for a real gun. And that's why I wanted to show the goat gun next to a real AK-47. The laws requiring orange tips on toy guns were put in place because toys got realistic. Cops were seeing these toys and thinking these kids were pointing real firearms at them. So the laws were changed to require the orange tips to differentiate between toys and real firearms. But these are totally different. First of all, they're like models. They're not actually toys and not sold as toys. They're sold as scaled down models of the actual guns. And as I mentioned numerous times, they're 1/3 the size of a real firearm. This woman is actually losing her mind over a rifle that literally fits in the palm of your hand. Yet in this process, Nebraska Mom has illustrated one very important point about anti-gun people. For all their talk about respecting the Second Amendment and not wanting to take away our guns, they're very much terrified that someone somewhere might actually like and want firearms. In this case, she's trying to pressure Scheels to stop selling a frickin' model, because it's a model of an actual gun. Way too close to something else she thinks is only for children like sleds. What she is admitting here is that people like her don't want anyone seeing guns or gun-like objects at all. They don't like that someone out there might look at guns with something other than fear or scorn. That's what this is truly about. She was in the store, apparently took the pictures, so she knows that these aren't remotely realistic enough to be mistaken for real firearms. So that must mean that all her bitching about them isn't out of concern that a child will be mistaken for having a real firearm. And that means it's really just because they look like guns. Well, she really needs to get over it. And I really hope Scheels doesn't budge at this at all. So once again, for the morons like Montana Mom, this is a real AK-47. And this is a 1/3 replica die-cast model. This shoots projectiles. This doesn't. It can't get any easier than that. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Montana Mom. And as always, I appreciate everybody's support for the channel. You guys are always crushing it by liking, sharing, and subscribing and hitting those post notifications. And I invite you to come back and watch my next video.